where is an important thing that the Vedas are timeless.
Ah, that is beautiful.
So, tradition.
Woo! You don't do it. They don't speak it in time because it's supposed to be timeless, guys. Dang, that is good.
Teacher will always say.
First off, philosophy is a confession. Hey, what's good, y'all? Thanks for clicking on the link. WTJ Knowledge Drops back with another reaction video for you. More on that in a second. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. If you are a returning knowledge nomad, I want to thank you again for your support. I can't express my gratitude enough. And I hope you're learning to love somebody you don't like so you can love yourself properly. If you are a new viewer, hello, my name is Wesley Travis Johnson. This is my channel, WTJ Knowledge Drops, where I react to spiritual teachers on my spiritual journey here, and I use my real life experience beating addiction and surviving a brain aneurysm rupture to kind of give insights throughout the lectures here. If that sounds like something you would enjoy, please consider subscribing so you can become a knowledge nomad. If you do, remember to hit the notifications with all selected so you can never miss a drop and stay in the loop. And like I said, okay, this is part 2 of the Katha Upanishad by, of course, the one and only best teacher in the world, Swami Sarvapriyananda. And I'm looking forward to it. This is part 2. The mantras 1 through 3. Without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, the Katha Upanishad, mantras 1 through 3 by Swami Sarvapriyananda. Let's get it. As always, if you back out before the video is over, your device will explode. So don't back out.
Om Sahanavavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
I have no idea what they're saying, but I can feel the frequency.
So, Katha Upanishad, this is our second class, and today we are going to begin by looking at the peace chant, the Sahanavavatu. This is it's very well known. What does it mean exactly?
The peace chant, I don't know about you guys over there, but we need it over here more than ever. I am going to learn it and then engrave it on Mount Rushmore, which is just, if y'all don't know, it's a mountain with our founding fathers' faces carved into it. And I'm going to carve this peace chant right underneath it, because it's getting a little weird over here, guys. Everybody political is getting a little weird. So we need this peace chant. I'm going to learn it and scream it at the top of my lungs as soon as I get it down. Shut up, Wes.
So I'm going to explain on the basis of Shankaracharya's commentary. Now, Shankaracharya has not written a commentary on the peace chant in this Upanishad, but in the Taittiriya Upanishad.
Okay, so yeah. Somebody in the comments told me that there are two other Upanishads that predate this one that I should probably go back and watch or listen to first. I will be doing those two after the Katha. Maybe he's about to touch on that here, but he's going to reference it in a different one, so I imagine it predates this one, or maybe it doesn't. Let's see.
You come across the same peace chant in the second section, the Brahmananda Valli of the Taittiriya Upanishad. So there the same Sahanavavatu is there. And there Shankaracharya actually explains, gives a commentary on the Sahanavavatu. What does it mean, this peace chant? So Sahanavavatu, Sahanavavatu, you understand it, you read it as Sahanavavatu. Saha, together, now, both of us, the two of us, teacher and taught, Guru and Shishya, the two of us, Avatu, may the Lord protect both of us. Here, the prayer is always addressed to Brahman. But in what sense Brahman? Not in the sense of the absolute reality, the sense of God, Saguna Brahman, Ishvara, Bhagavan.
So it's more individualistic chant for you and the teacher. It's not for the greater good of society. Although I'm sure you can, cross it over to that. But this is still perfect for me.
So we pray to Saguna Brahman, may you be gracious and protect both of us, the teacher and the taught. Saha no avatu.
So I guess I was being kind of materialistic there. To change outward, you got to change inward. Is that correct? So it doesn't really matter about what's going on around us. Whatever you're getting in here is changing out there.
Next, Saha no bhunaktu. May Ishvara or Bhagavan be gracious and bless us with the results of the study. Bhunaktu means let us enjoy or experience the results. What are the results? Ultimately, the results of the study of Upanishads will be enlightenment and freedom from suffering, attainment of fulfillment. So, freedom,
ignorance to knowledge.
From suffering and attainment of fulfillment are the ultimate results. Of course, though that's not said here directly, just said, let us both enjoy the results of this study. Bhunaktu means to experience or enjoy by the grace of Bhagavan. Then next, Saha Viryam Karavavahe. Let us both do, Viryam means powerful or effective. Here it just means let us both have the capacity for knowledge. So the capacity for knowledge, we remember that in Vedanta, the qualifications for knowledge are the fourfold qualifications. If you remember, Viveka, Vairagya, the sixfold treasure, and this Mumukshutvam, intense desire to be free. So when we enter into Vedanta, these qualifications are necessary. These make us qualified as seekers of Vedanta. With these qualifications, this study will lead to enlightenment and freedom. And these qualifications all of us have as seekers, but they have to be at a certain level of excellence. So all of this, Shankaracharya simply says, let us have the samarthya, the capacity for this vidya, for this knowledge. That is the meaning of Saha Viryam Karavavahe. Just by the way, these qualifications for Vedanta, the fourfold qualifications, when we read texts, much later texts like Vedanta Sara, it's all neat and geometrical. You enter into Vedanta, what is the objective of Vedanta, who is qualified, what are the fourfold qualifications. But when we have gone back to the source, like the Upanishads, right now what we are doing, we will begin to see how what we read in these earlier texts, like in this later text like Vedanta Sara, they are a systematization of materials gathered from these Upanishads. So as we go into this Upanishad, for example, we'll see how the same qualities are found here, but they are scattered, and you have to dig, find them out, and then ultimately systematize. And later in texts like, Vedanta Sara, Vivek Chudamani, it seems very neat, that fourfold qualification. But where did they come from? How did you get them? We'll see in these texts. Anyway, Saha Vidyam Karavavahi, let us have the capacity for knowledge, both of us, by the grace of God, by the grace of Saguna Brahman, Ishvara, Bhagavan. Tejasvi now adhitamastu. Let our study be luminous. Luminous means the capacity to understand what has been taught. Artha dharana. Shankaracharya says the capacity to understand. And here understanding is
ignorance to knowledge.
Just not understanding what has been taught in the text or by the teacher. Here understanding means up to the level of enlightenment, up to the level of Brahma Jnana, the realization that I am Brahman. By the grace of God, by the grace of Ishvara, let that happen by the blessings of the Lord. Ma vidvishavahe. May we not have friction, misunderstanding, quarrels between teacher and taught. So once again, Sahanavavatu, by the grace of the Lord, may we both be protected, teacher and the taught. Sahanau bhunaktu, may we both enjoy the results of this study, which is ultimately enlightenment, freedom from suffering, attainment of fulfillment, the goal of human life. Sahaviryam karavavahi, may we have the strength, the qualifications for this quest, this spiritual journey. Tejasvi navadhitam astu. The two of us, may we have the qualifications, may we have the capacity to understand this knowledge. Tejasvi means radiant, luminous. May our study be radiant or luminous, which means may the meaning of these texts, this what we are studying, may it become clear to us, and meaning to the extent of realization, enlightenment. Ma vidvishavahe, may there be no disagreement, quarrel, friction between teacher and taught. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Three kinds of obstacles are there. There is adhyatmic, obstacles to study and to the ultimate realization. So here specifically it means the study and completion of the text. Three kinds of obstacles may arise. Adhyatmic means related to the body and the mind. So body-mind problems could be ill health, it could be depression, unhappiness, stress, so whatever it is, physical and mental obstacles. So let there be no physical, mental obstacles. That's the first piece. The second one is adhibhautik, from other beings, maybe the people who disturb you or cause anxiety to you, which may impact upon your study. Let that be also peaceful. And then finally, adhidaivik, natural causes, whatever it is, cyclones or COVID or whatever it is, let nature also be propitious unto us. The three types of possible obstacles, we say that let those obstacles, by the grace of God, the obstacles not be there for our study.
So we can learn. Because all intelligences is 50% awareness and 50% memory. So if you have these three things in order, you're able to have your complete attention on what's being said, which helps you remember it. So 50% attention, 50% memory. All intelligences. We're all capable. My short-term memory is the worst, but my long-term memory is almost photogenic.
So this is the meaning of the peace chant. This is an Upanishad, part of the Vedas. And the Vedas, the mass of spiritual truths revealed to the rishis. As the story goes, at one point it was a mass. Such a huge mass of literature is difficult to handle. So Krishna Dvaipayana, the rishi, he comes and he divides the Vedas into 4 parts. That's why he's called Veda Vyasa.
So if you're new, I did a video, a reaction on the actual Vedas as a whole. I will leave the link in the description if you want to watch that one next, instead of breaking it down individually. So yeah, there's that.
Krishna Dvaipayana is called Veda Vyasa because of that. The one who categorized, classified, or divided the Vedas into four. Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Yajur Veda, and Atharva Veda. Each of them, they have their ritualistic portions and their Upanishadic or knowledge portions. This particular Upanishad belongs to the Yajur Veda. And Yajur Veda, for certain reasons, is divided into two more, Krishna Yajur Veda and Shukla Yajur Veda, the so-called dark and the white Yajur Veda. This Upanishad belongs to the Krishna Yajur Veda.
I like how you guys embrace the dark side, because we over here in the West ignore it and tend to act like it's taboo. But all you youngsters out here, you need to embrace your dark side and then learn to control it. That's what women want, okay? They don't want Mr. Nice Guy that chases after them and all that good stuff. No. You need to learn to embrace your dark side and then learn to control it. A woman wants a man that knows what he's capable of but has complete control over it. As soon as, if you're chasing a woman, she thinks that you're seeking validation by keeping up after she has rejected you, you just lose every time. It just gets worse and worse. So don't chase. They do not want you to be Mr. Guy's Guy and chasing. Don't do that. Forgot my point. Short-term memory. I'll remember it in a second.
Upanishad itself has two chapters. Adhyaya means chapters. So it has two chapters. Katha Upanishad has two chapters. And each chapter has three sections. The sections are called Valli. Chapter is called Adhyaya. And the sections are...
It was about embracing your dark side. Embrace your dark side. But don't go too crazy, guys. Just learn to embrace it and learn to control it. And while we were talking about the ladies, if you do hit on a lady and she rejects you, you leave it with a compliment, okay? Say, well, I hope one day you do find a man that you're interested in and you live happily ever after. Doesn't have to be that cheesy. But definitely leave a rejection with a compliment, fellas. That's rare, and women like rare men.
Called Valli. So 6 sections in all. 3 in the first chapter, 3 in the second chapter. Altogether, there are 119 mantras. Notice, whatever you find in the Upanishads, these texts are, because they are part of the Veda, they are called mantras. You may find a verse, a shloka, but in Upanishad you won't call it a shloka, it's a mantra. Whereas verses in the same mantra, in fact, is quoted by Krishna in the Gita, but then Gita it will be a shloka, it's a verse. So this, the very prestige of belonging to the Veda, it shows there. These are mantras of the Vedas. So 119 mantras spread across 6.
Yeah, if you're new, the returning viewers, this is going to be redundant, but Hinduism it's so vast that it makes you feel like you're floating in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and you have no idea which way to go. That's kind of what Hinduism feels like to me, at least, personally. Maybe it's not as overwhelming to you, but shut up, Wes.
6 sections, 2 chapters, 119. And if you include the Shanti mantra, Sahanavavatu, then 120. So
damn, see? 120.
120 mantras. It is not as huge as the Brihadaranyaka or Chandogya, which are massive texts, not as tiny as the Mandukya, which is the shortest of the Upanishads. So it's sort of a middle range Upanishad, something like Mundaka Upanishad.
Lukewarm, right in the middle. That's where we like to be, right? Not too high, not too low. Not too big, not too slow. Tall, slow. You know what I'm saying. Fast, slow. Right in the middle. That's where you want to be.
Then Katha Upanishad, your Aitareya, Prashna, these are all middle length. even to some extent you might say the Taittiriya, they're all sort of middle-sized Upanishads. All right, so that's a little bit of background. And Shankaracharya has written the commentary, which I'll be using for explaining the Upanishad. What else do I say? All right, so now we are going to start the Upanishad, the first mantra.
I thought the damn peace one was a part of it, so that wasn't even one of the mantras. That was just something that they use, something to use to get started. It's like a prayer to be successful, so it's not a part of the actual mantras. Okay, sorry about that, guys. If I confused you.
Now, there is a beautiful way of chanting the Upanishad, and it's done in Belur Math. It's very uplifting, but it requires you to be a little musical. I am not, so I won't even attempt it. I'll just read it out.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't blame you.
Chapter 1, Section 1, Mantra 1.
Right.
Om Ushanhavai Vajashravasa Sarva Veda Samdado Tasyaha Nachiketa Nama Putra Asa. Om, it is well known that in ancient times the Rishi Vajashravasa or the Brahmana Vajashravasa, desiring the results of the rituals, the fire rituals, performed a fire ritual and gave away all his material wealth. He had a son called Nachiketa. So this is the meaning of the first mantra. So straight away, now we have started a story. And you can see the difference between something like Mandukya Upanishad and this one. So Mandukya Upanishad was all business. It immediately got down to waking state, dream state, deep sleep.
I'm all business. I can't really do fiction much, guys. I'm going to stick it out, and I know there's deeper meaning to these stories here. But when it comes to like movies or books or whatnot, I can't do fiction. I'm non-fiction. I got to be learning or laughing or loving, or I'm not interested. But I'm going to enjoy these stories, trying to interpret the actual meanings.
Straight, and the fourth, the witness consciousness, and a certain meditation using Om, and finished. And the commentary on that by Gaudapada was highly philosophical, very subtle, divided into 4 chapters. One chapter to explain the Upanishad itself, the second chapter to prove the falsity of the world using very subtle arguments, third chapter to prove the reality of Brahman using very subtle arguments, and the last 4th chapter to deal with various objections, different points of view, and all of that. So 4 chapters and all very philosophical, no time for storytelling. But here it starts off with, come, let me tell you a story. So it's very nice. Most of the Upanishads are actually like this. They're always stories. Now, why a story? So, just by the way, someone might wonder, so is it historical? Was there actually a little boy called Nachiketa who went to the house of death and asked these questions? So was there a teacher called Yama, this little boy called Nachiketa? We don't know really. And you'd be surprised.
I'm going to say no. It's just stories, guys. I got a strong feeling it's the same about Jesus. I don't think he ever existed. I think it was made up and it just offer control. I think these stories are all fiction and completely 100% made up. I don't know about this one, but I'm pretty sure the Bible is. I'm going to shut up and see where this goes.
You would expect that a traditional teacher would say, yes, all this is true. But no, a traditional teacher will actually deny it. You know why?
Because it makes it seem stupid. Like when people really think that someone gave birth without ever having sex. Wink, wink.
Because the moment you say that these are historical figures, then it places the Upanishads and therefore the Vedas in time. where is an important thing that the Vedas are timeless.
Ah, that is beautiful.
So tradition.
Woo! You don't do it. They don't speak it in time because it's supposed to be timeless, guys. Dang, that is good.
Teacher will always say this Nachiketa and Yamaraja's story, the god of death and the little boy Nachiketa, and all the stories and all such stories are just devices for praising, for glorifying the knowledge and teaching. So they are ways of teaching us. That's all. You understand why they are hesitant to say these are historical figures. They don't want it to be like fixed in a particular time. So if Nachiketa was actually a little boy, there must be a time when he was born. And so the Katha Upanishad must have come after him. And all that is completely unacceptable to the traditionalist. All this is Upanishads, part of the Vedas, timeless.
Okay. So good. Sorry if you see me doing something over here. It's probably me taking notes. I'm not paying attention. I like to take notes, and so I can know what to come back and touch on, and what I know I need to study more to interpret fully. Shut up, Wes.
Okay. So these are called akhyayikas. Stories which are embedded in the scriptures for a purpose. What is the purpose? We will see. So the first purpose is that to show us certain things. For example, the importance of undergoing so much hardship to attain the knowledge of Brahman. So we'll see later on.
I think that is a necessity. You must experience hardship to become your best self. And it's unfortunate, but I think it's true. Yes. Generally, if you're going through a tough time, it's because you're about to have a spiritual breakthrough. So hang in there. Don't get too discouraged if you're depressed or anything like that right now. It means you're on the verge of a breakthrough. Keep holding strong. Keep going. It's attacking all of us. Nobody's immune. Stay strong. You're about to have a breakthrough.
The Upanishad will say how Nachiketa goes to the house of death and there waits without food and drink for 3 days, waiting for the god of death to make his appearance to ask the questions, the fundamental questions about what happens after death. So we'll come across this line later on, little later. Tisro ratrir yadavatsir grihe me anashnan brahman atithir namasya. So the Yama, the god of death, says, O child, honored guest, you have stayed here for 3 nights without food or drink. Now, what does that mean? You have to put up with so much trouble, for so much hardship for in the search for enlightenment.
I can see that they got a nice little ring light camera at the Vedanta Society of New York. I wish I had one. I got to put mine right in front of a window. But I can see it in his glasses. And the fact that he takes them off and on is pretty hardcore, because I leave mine on all the time because I use them so damn much. So I just leave them on. Him taking it off, putting it back on, that's hardcore.
Then we find things like, for example, vairagya, a complete dispassion for worldly pleasures. So Nachiketa will say, again we'll come across it a little later.
I am really struggling with worldly pleasures, even to this day. I overcame hardcore opiate addiction, but I still drink the strongest coffee that you can possibly actually drink. And I do smoke cigarettes. And for pain, I use cannabis. So I do still have problems. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I did overcome opioid addiction. Last I checked, people don't kill other people for pot. The only way pot's gonna kill you is, just like Joe Rogan said, if somebody drops like 20 pounds out of a plane and it hits somebody in the head. That's the only way that pot's going to kill somebody. Shut up, Wes.
Shobhava mattasya yadantakaitat sarvindriyanam jarayanti teja. He will say to Yama, it'll come later, that it'll say to Yama that all these pleasures of the world, not only this world, heavens, the heavenly world, this earth and the heaven which people go to after death, all of these pleasures are temporary. They are here today, they are gone tomorrow. Not by our experiences of life, and we go on to death. These pleasures are of no use to me. Nachiketa will see he's a little kid, maybe around 10 years old, or a little less than that. And he is quite cheeky. When Yama, we will see the god of death will offer him all sorts of temptations, singing and dancing and racing cars in those days, chariots. So anything that a little boy might want, he says, Tavaiva vaha tava nritya gite. The little boy has the audacity to tell the god of death, keep your singing and dancing and chariots. You keep them. I don't want it. I want an answer to my questions.
Dang, that's pretty smart for a 10-year-old. It's not a real story, guys.
So vairagya, dispassion. Then the importance of listening again and again, because this is a very subtle teaching. We will see, Nachiketa, the Upanishad will tell us later on, Shravanayapi bahubhiryo na labhya. What is not understood even by repeated listening, what cannot be grasped even by logical argumentation. So it is a process which is little difficult. You have to go through that process of Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana again.
So that's the only problem with me doing these reaction videos. It's kind of hard to have my complete attention on what's being taught because I'm constantly trying to think of something to say to entertain you guys. So that is the only downfall of doing this. That's why I'm studying them on my own in between reaction videos.
And again, all those things we'll see in the course of the story itself. Then the fact that by this knowledge one can attain immortality, one can go beyond death. At this point you will be saying, all this we know. Yes, we know because we have studied Vedanta Sara and Aparoksha Anubhuti and Rigdrishya Vivek, but where did it all come from? It comes from sources like this. So it is from these stories like this that all these ideas are extracted. So the central idea of Advaita Vedanta, by knowing Brahman, by realizing Brahman, by enlightenment, one goes beyond death. Where did this idea come from? That by knowledge one can go beyond death. Here, Nichayatan Mrityu Mukhat Pramuchyate. It will come again a little later in this Upanishad. By realizing that Atman, one is freed from the jaws of death. It will come. So all of these things are going to be recovered from the story. By realizing the Atman, by realizing Brahman, one goes beyond sorrow. You have heard me say it endless times when I talk about Vedanta. But where did you get it? Where did these ideas, where did we get it? It's not original to Vidyaranya or Sadananda who wrote the Vedanta Sara, not even original to Shankara, not even original to Gaudapada. It is original to the Upanishads. We will hear soon. Matva dhiro harsha shokau jahati. The spiritual seeker, the qualified spiritual seeker. Literally, dhira means the patient one, the strong one. That one realizes. Having realized, harsha shoko jahati, goes beyond, gives up the pleasure and pain. Goes beyond pleasure and pain.
I'm in the process. I have to give up both because I experience both pretty hardcore. Pleasure and pain, and I figured you had to have one with the other. But I need to work on myself.
So many things we get from this story. All this Shankaracharya just says, what is the point of this story? The story of the little boy Nachiketa who went to the house of death. The point is, Shankaracharya in his commentary says, Akhyayika Vidya Stutyartha. The story is for glorifying the knowledge which is going to be set out. What do you mean glorifying? By glorifying, we mean all these things. We learn so much from the story. This and many more things. For example, he says, Shishtachara. Not in this commentary, in another commentary, Shankaracharya says, values which are part of the Vedantic tradition. So the honor, the respect that we give to the spiritual teacher. We consider the spiritual teacher the guru, not just like a lecturer or a professor. Though in Indian tradition, because of this great respect given to the spiritual teacher, the same thing is transferred secondarily to all teachers. So all teachers are highly respected because they transmit knowledge. Because the original...
They should be. Not only spiritual teachers, but just regular teachers in general. They should be taken care of way more than they are, at least over here in the United States. I don't think the government should be a part of it, but they'll never let it go because that's how they feed what they want the kids to know. But they don't treat the teachers correctly, in my opinion. They should be making close to 6 figures. Honestly, even regular teachers, even kindergarten teachers, because you want the best of the best in there. You don't want some scrub in there letting bullshit go on. Let's take care of our teachers, spiritual and academic.
The original idea was the guru transmits this spiritual knowledge found in the Upanishads, which is a saving knowledge, which takes you beyond sorrow, which takes you beyond death, which gives you fulfillment. So we have this Shishtachara means the behavior of the cultured one, the behavior of the person who has these values. What kind of behavior? Will bow down to the guru, will give respect to the guru. This is one thing. So for example, these peace chants which are done, or in the later text you will see there's this Mangalacharana, an auspicious chant at the beginning of the text. Every text had it. Vedanta Sar had Akhandam Satchidanandam Avangmana Sagocharam, if you remember. Then Aparokshanubhuti had. So these traditions are inculcated. So now you are praying for protection, that our study may be effective, that we may have the qualifications for the study, the obstacles may not come. Now one might say, all right, pray silently, pray in your mind. Why do you have to chant it together? So chanting it together means the teacher is teaching the disciples.
If you are new to my channel, I did a video on consciousness where they actually, I studied a study to where they had a spiritual teacher in an MRI machine, and then they had a patient in another MRI machine down the hall, and a lot of times even across the street in another building, and in another MRI machine. And when the spiritual teacher started his process, praying for the other individual, a part of his brain lit up, and almost instantaneously the patient's same part of the brain lit up. So there is materialistic proof that prayer works, and it's most potent when you're alone, so be careful there. But there's scientific proof that prayer works.
This is a value which is being transmitted, and I am doing it, you do it too, and you teach it to those who will come after you. So this is called Shishtachara, the values of the cultured one, of the person who is part of this tradition.
I would love to get to that point to where I was confident in what I knew to teach other people this Vedanta. It is a beautiful thing. I hope to reach the highest spiritual level in there.
This also we learn from the stories, the behavior of Nachiketa, and so on. The importance of Shraddha, we'll see immediately, it will come. A faith in what the text is saying and the teacher is saying, and a faith in oneself. All of that goes together, faith in oneself. Now, Swami Vivekananda said the first thing which is necessary is a faith in oneself. I must believe that I can do it. Others...
Yes. You gotta be confident, guys. Even if you've never been there before, you gotta act like you've been there before. If that makes sense. I forgot my point.
Before me have been able to do it, I too can do it. most teachers talk about a faith in God. I was just thinking that
knowing that you're good enough is knowing that God is good enough. We are all one. The only single thing is everything. Shout out Olin Batiste III.
what is the relationship between faith in God and faith in oneself? And I found it in a writing of Mahatma Gandhi. He says only those who have faith in themselves can truly have faith in God.
Mm-hmm.
Those who truly have confidence in themselves can confidently believe somebody else can believe God, for example.
Oh man, that is good shit, guys. Woo! Holy cow.
So it's a very good connection. Faith in
Yes.
yourself first, and then faith in God. All of this is Shraddha. Shraddha is translated as Astikya Buddhi. Astikya Buddhi means the conviction, it is so. There is something there in all of these teachings. There is some higher reality. I have firm, I don't know it yet. I'm not enlightened yet, but I have that much faith that it is there. But I have also faith in the text. I have faith in the teacher. I have faith in myself. Very important.
Faith, yes, like you said, faith is very, very, very important. The smallest seed of doubt will fuck up the whole, will screw up the whole manifestation process. Faith. You gotta believe it. You're already healed, and you believe that you're healed. You have to believe it. The smallest seed of doubt will ruin it all. You are healed. You are healed. Believe it.
You'll see Nachiketa the boy will show that he has faith in himself. And that I can do it. I can become enlightened. What Vivekananda did, I also can do. Now, let's come to the mantra itself. So what I was telling you right now is importance of the story. By the way, the story will go on and on and on. So you'll see the first section and part of the second section is all the story. Then the teaching will start a little later. But the story is not just like a story, you have to go through it. You have to pick up all these valuable gems which later become part of the system of Vedanta. They all come from here, from this one and from other Upanishads. We'll see, we'll keep coming across similar teachings. But the actual teaching of Vedanta will start later. It's something like Bhagavad Gita. If you see the Gita, the first chapter is just the background, Arjuna's problem. Actual teaching by Krishna starts in the second chapter, and that too in the 11th shloka of the second chapter. And Shankaracharya is quite impatient there. He has written his commentary on the Gita, but he gives an introduction to the Gita, then he completely ignores the first chapter. And he ignores part of the...
like the West did with the first step of spirituality. They just conveniently left out that we are all one. And that we are all God. Because imagine the power if everybody knew that they were God, or a part of God, a piece of God, a collective. Like whatever they put out, mental frequency affects the greater society of people, because we are all one. Whatever you put out, you're responsible for. Take responsibility for what energy you put out into the universe, guys. Take responsibility. Stop worrying. Be positive. Believe. Have faith.
The first 10 verses of the second chapter also. And then when the teaching starts, 11th shloka of second chapter, Shankaracharya then starts his commentary also. Here Shankaracharya is not so impatient. He gives a fairly good commentary on the story itself. All right, let's start the story.
Right.
What is this story? Ushan Havai. So this Havai, these are called these indeclinable participles. They talk about an ancient time, a very old time. It was so. So goes the story. In very ancient times, what was there? Vajasravasa. So Vajasrava is the rishi. Literally the meaning of the name, and we get this from the commentary, is the Vaja means annam. Literally it means rice or food, but it also means material possessions. and Shravaha is fame. So the fame gained by giving away, donating or giving large quantities of food or just material possessions, including food. So the person who is a person, a top donor, every university is very aware, top donor. So Vajashravasa is a top donor. Literally the name means one who is famous for donating material possessions, precisely rice or food. And Vajashravasa is the son of Vajashrava. The son of Vajashrava is Vajashravasa. Or
rice and food, probably because it's the most precious, I guess maybe that's the word, most needed thing on the planet is food and water. So donating those things would put you as the biggest donor, I would imagine. That's my thought on that.
Shankaracharya says it's just a name. So it could be a person who is famous for giving away everything, and we'll see why he's saying that. We'll see this person gives away, donates. But also it could just be the name. So Vajashrava is the son of the famous donor Vajashrava. What did he do? He performed a ritual. Now we must understand, this is where the Upanishad is connected to the rest of the Vedas. Remember, I told you the Vedas have broadly two parts, the ritualistic portion and the knowledge portion. The Upanishads, which concern us, is a knowledge portion. The knowledge portion itself is Vedanta. Upanishads and Vedanta are the same thing, but the Upanishads are part of the Vedas. And this you will see in all the Upanishads. The roots lie in the ritualistic portion. So you will see it's part of that culture.
That's the part that gets really weird to me when people do like rituals, because then it gets into like weird sacrifice shit, and that's where it turns me off. So, shrines, it's kind of weird for me. That's why churches are weird for me. I can't explain why. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's just really odd to worship something that much that doesn't exist. It's just odd to me, guys. Pardon my ignorance if I'm being ignorant. But I do see that the other side is rooted, which is, it obviously is, because you can't have one thing without the other with anything. You gotta blend the opposites.
All right, let me go on.
Okay.
So what did this person do, Vajasravasa, Nachiketa's father? He performed a ritual. There are many kinds of rituals, and these rituals were meant to give you some results. Rainfall, victory over enemies, prosperity, children, and most important, which will give you heaven after death. So all these rituals, they generate plenty of good karma. There was a technical name for that. It was called apurva, the results generated by Vedic rituals. So these results will give rise to what you deserve. You can like credit. You can spend it, and you can't have a choice exactly, that you can't say that I'm going to do this ritual and let the latest.
This whole life revolves around credit. Physically and spiritually, apparently. My bad karma slate was wiped out 10 years ago when I survived a stroke or a brain aneurysm rupture, whatever you want to call it. I was dead for a month. They had me in an induced coma, and the only thing that kept me alive was a respiratory machine. And I can tell you, don't be afraid of death. It felt like I was dreaming the whole time. I literally had a brain surgery, and part of my skull was out for like a month. Even for the time that I was in the rehab facility after the month in the hospital, I had to spend another month or so in a rehab facility learning how to walk again, learning how to swallow again, and all that. My point was, I think that don't be afraid of death, because you're just going to feel like you're dreaming, probably.
iPhone come to me. You can't do that, but you can, it's just a lot of good karma in your account, so your life will be good here in this life, and after death you get to go.
I hope to God that killed my bad karma slate, because it was built up. The whole first 35 years of my life, I was the biggest piece of shit ever, robbing and stealing from family and friends, from everybody who loved me the most. Piece of shit. And that's why I had a brain aneurysm rupture. I don't think I was supposed to survive it, but thank God I did. I just can't use my left side now. It's alright. It's not as bad as you think, although it is terrible.
Go to heaven, one of the best heavens, and after that you get a good birth again. So all of this is ensured by the karma kanda. So you can see how attractive it was. That was the kind of popular religion which people had in those days. And we can see Nachiketa's father is one of them. So those rituals were performed for results, especially heaven. So they were called yajna, fire rituals, or yaga, fire rituals. And they were performed by anybody who was part of the Vedic culture. One of those rituals is the Vishwajit Yajna. It's called the Vishwajit Yajna. And the speciality of this yajna was that after the performance of the ritual, you would give away, you would donate all your possessions, all your material possessions to the priests and everybody else who has come to the fire ritual. It's a big affair. You invite many priests. So you give away all your possessions to them. It's part of the ritual. In fact, all of these rituals, dana, that means you give some gifts to the priests who have come. That is part of that, and they will bless you. You give the gifts after the ritual is performed.
In Christianity, they call it tithing, and I don't want to say expect, but they expect 10% of the income that you earn is what a traditional tithe is. I wish people would just give me all kinds of shit. I'm spreading love. Y'all give me some money. I'm begging you.
And you give those gifts to the priests. And there are multiple priests representing the different Vedas, and each had a different role to perform. In large-scale pujas, nowadays in Hinduism, we have these grand pujas which have replaced the fire rituals. The big-scale fire rituals are very few now. Not that they are not performed, still performed in Hinduism, but very rare. But now we have the large-scale pujas. So one is over now. Ganesh Puja is over now, big one. And another big one is coming, which is Durga Puja. And in part of them, you will, as a part of these big pujas, you will find a small or one homa, one fire ritual also will still be performed. In those days, that homa, the fire ritual, yajna or yaga, was the main ritual to be performed. And always as part of that, there was some donation to be given, some gifts to be given, especially to the priests, the brahmanas who came and performed it on your behalf. Now, the speciality of this particular fire ritual, Vishwajit Yaga, is that you will give away everything. All that you possess, you give it away. So, what was the purpose of this Vishwajit Yaga? Actually, no direct result is mentioned, but there's a discussion in the Mimamsa Sutras about this. And the point is that this yaga, you would perform it to go to heaven after death. There are others, to the priests, the brahmanas who came and performed it on your behalf. Now, the speciality of this particular fire ritual, Vishwajit Yaga, is that you would give away everything. All that you possess, you give it away. So, what was the purpose?
Damn, that's pretty hardcore. Are you guys devout enough to give up all of your possessions? That seems like a really high level to get to, in my opinion. But wow, that's insane.
Because of this Vishwajit Yaga, actually no direct result is mentioned, but there's a discussion in the Mimamsa Sutras about this. And the point is that this yaga, you would perform it to go to heaven after death. There are others also like this. This was also specifically for going to heaven. Now, these rituals in those days and today also, all the rituals in Hinduism can be performed in two ways. The primary way is I do it because I want something. I do it because I have a desire. Performing the ritual with desire. This is called sakama karma or kamya karma. Sakama karma or kamya karma with desire. What is my desire? I will go to heaven after death.
So I did a reaction video, which was Vedanta versus religion, and it's basically what is Vedanta. So if you want to dive deeper into what he's talking about right now, you'll want to watch that reaction video next. There'll be a link at the end you can click on for my reactions, and you'll just find what is Vedanta. All right.
But there's another way of performing these rituals, which is without desire. Why would you perform the rituals or pujas without?
This is all explained in that video, what he's talking about. Two different kinds of ritual types. One, you're praying, or your ritual is for something in the physical world, whether it be for it to rain, or for you to get prosperous, or you get what I'm saying. That type of ritual praying to get something materialistic. But there's another type of one that he's about to explain right now, and he explains more in that What is Vedanta video that I reacted to.
How is that? We do it. Most of you who are do some ritual or worship, you do it actually. The second way is performing it just for the blessings of God. I am a spiritual seeker, and I need the blessings of God, of Brahman, Bhagavan, to go ahead in my spiritual path for purification of the mind, for devotion, for knowledge, for all of these things which I am seeking. I am seeking something. I'm not seeking anything worldly. Why I'm not seeking anything worldly? Because the path I'm walking on, the path of enlightenment, requires me to turn away from these worldly projects. So I am seeking enlightenment, but for that I need something. I need peace of mind, I need a good character, I need strength of mind, I need devotion. All of these things I pray for.
See what I'm saying? Instead of praying for materialistic things, you pray for being more loving, or being able to understand better, to love somebody you don't like, that type of stuff.
This is called nishkama, without desire. You might say, but you just said you have desires. So Sri Ramakrishna solves it beautifully. He says desire for God is not to be counted among desires, because it destroys all worldly desires. Rituals can be performed without worldly desires. If you are a spiritual seeker, you are performing them, then the result will be chitta shuddhi, purification of the mind. And this is not odd.
Ooh, beautification of the mind. That's where I'm headed. Where are you headed? Hit me in the comments if that's where you're headed as well. While we're at it, if you made it this far, shout out where you're from. Whether it's country, state, territory, city, rep where you're from. Let me know.
Most of us, when we are doing rituals, so sadhus, devotees, when we go to Ganesh Puja, Durga Puja, what do we pray for? We pray for devotion. We pray for viveka, vairagya, and dispassion for the world. We pray for the welfare of the world. Not just my welfare. I should get, this is my Christmas shopping list. May God please give me these things. No, then it becomes sakama, with desire.
Yeah.
If you pray for the welfare of everybody, then it's without any desire there. It becomes nishkama karma. If you remember, it might be faintly familiar from the beginning of the Vedanta Sara. Vedanta Sara says, you give up all kamya karma. The qualifications for being an aspirant is that, for a spiritual seeker, a Vedantin, is you give up kamya karma, give up karmas, rituals which are motivated by desire. And you may perform the karma for chitta shuddhi, for purification of mind, which is very necessary for Vedanta, for getting the fourfold qualifications. Now the question arises, so Nachiketa's father, Vajasravasa, what did he do it with? Did he have a desire, or was he going to become, was he trying to get enlightened? He had a desire. Ushan means, he says, with desire. Kamayamana, Shankaracharya says in his commentary, he wanted something.
So I'm thinking it's wanting something without desire, which I kind of found a secret law of manifestation about desire. The more you want something to happen, the less likely it will. I think it kind of ties into what he's saying, but I think it's because if that block wasn't there, we'd be able to manifest whatever we wanted whenever we wanted it at any time, and there would be no fun in that. So God put a block. If you want it too much, it'll slip right through your fingers.
What did he want? We know from the context. He performed the Vishwajit sacrifice, whose goal is heaven. So,
want without desire.
He wanted to go to heaven. Perfectly common kind of understanding in those days. I will perform this ritual and I will go to heaven. So, Ushan, desiring a result, which is heaven, Vajashravasa, Nachiketa's father, this Vedic Brahmana, Sarva Veda Samdado, he gave up all his material possessions. He donated all his material possessions. That is the clue which tells us he performed the Vishwajit Yaga, not something else. He performed the
So even though he had a desire to go to heaven, which would make it a materialistic thing, he's already given away all his possessions to show that he is not effing around. I want to cuss because it's a really big part of my character, but yeah, I feel like it's wrong when we are learning spiritual stuff. So I'm going to try to refrain as much as possible, but it's going to slip out, guys, and I apologize in advance. Sorry for the audio, too. It's been off. I don't know what's wrong. I'm trying to figure it out. It's a one-man band over here, so you're going to have to work with me. Love you guys. Shut up, Wes.
Vishwajit sacrifice. Now, we might ask, okay, so Tasyaha Nachiketa Nama Putrasa. He had a son called Nachiketa. This is the beginning of the story. Next mantra. Tamha kumaram santam dakshinasu niyamanasu shraddha vivesha somanyata. When he was a little boy.
Somebody sign this man immediately. He needs to be producing records.
Nachiketa, being a little boy, when he saw that all the possessions being divided among the priests and the priests taking away their portions, he saw something which aroused his faith, his shraddha in himself, and he spoke. He thought something. What he thought, we'll see later. So what is the meaning of this mantra?
Cliffhanger. Stay tuned. It helps me as well. We're going to get there eventually, guys. You got to hang in there. Also, your device will explode. Remember, you've almost made it. I think we got halfway through right now.
Boy, Kumaram Santam. At that time, he was a little boy. Kumaram Santam here means little boy here is below the age of 5. The classification is Shishu, child, little boy or little kid. And then from 5 to adolescence, 10 years, 11 or 12 years, before becoming an adolescent or a teenager, you are, it's called a Kumar or Kumari, a boy or a girl. And after that becomes Yuva or Yuvati, a youth, a young man or a young woman. So what age was Nachiketa? He was pre-adolescent. Shankaracharya makes that point. He was pre-adolescent, he was a little boy. Dakshinasu niyamanasu. When he saw the priests carrying away the dakshina, the things given away by his father, who was supposed to give away everything, he didn't actually, but we'll see that. And Nachiketa, seeing what his father was doing, his faith, where did that faith come from? Because he is brought up in such a family, he has seen the whole Vedic culture, he has studied, he's studying, obviously, he's still a kid, and he's seen the rituals being performed, he knows what should be done, and he sees what his father is doing. So the sense of right and wrong comes.
It's like that the videos of the Ring cameras on Valentine's Day when a kid and his parent walks up to a bucket that says just take one, and the parent like grabs a handful and the kid's like, "Mom, you're doing something wrong. You're only supposed to get one." I don't know if you guys seen any of those videos, but that's what this is right here. Kids slapping their parents on the hand when they know they're doing shit wrong. It's needed. We should welcome it.
Comes up. And kids can be very forthright. So he's going to tell his father, what you're doing is wrong. You're cheating.
Yeah.
So manyata. He thought to himself. What did he think? So this Shraddha Vivesha was filled with Shraddha, with faith. This is Swami Vivekananda loved the Katha Upanishad. One of the reasons was this one. For many reasons, it was his favorite Upanishad. But this Shraddha, the faith, he wanted everybody to have that kind of faith. He says, no spirituality is possible without that faith in oneself. That it is true.
Woo! You gotta have faith in yourself. If you are looking in the mirror and not liking what you're seeing, we got a problem. We need to start working on something. And it's probably, honestly, because you have hate for something outside of your body. Like somebody that you absolutely hate. We're not going to mention any names. But that's going to reflect on how you feel about yourself. And it kind of ties into what he's talking about right here. You can't be feeling like that about yourself. Even though it's not in the front of your neurological process and you don't feel like it, it's in the back. It's in the back. You feel like it. It's just in the background.
I have the highest, noblest goal in life, and I can do it. I shall pursue it. That is the meaning of my life. That shows what great esteem one holds oneself in. One considers oneself fit for God realization, for enlightenment, not anything less. So that means you have a great respect for yourself. So that is Shraddha. This is the highest self-esteem. And
ooh, I like that too. I think I'm just on the cusp, if I haven't arrived yet, the highest form of self-love. A lot of it I have to give credit to Don Miguel Ruiz Jr., who is a part of the Toltec tradition, which was like a sect of the Mayan society. They were like the spiritual leaders. Yeah, they really teach unconditional love big time. And I owe a lot to the Toltec teachings as well. I would highly suggest getting into those if you haven't. I may do a video on them just so you guys can see it. Let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in learning more about self-love.
In Krishna also, in the Bhagavad Gita, he scolds Arjuna. Klaivyam masma gamah partha. He says, don't be in this paralyzed, neutered in this way. Oh Arjuna, you're a great warrior. Stand up and fight. Do your duty. You want to become enlightened, then you have to get up and be up and doing.
Faith without works is dead. You got to put the action in, guys. Procrastination is manifestation's worst fucking nightmare, guys. Stop procrastinating. I know you are, because everybody does it. I do it probably worse than you. I should have had this done 2 days ago. I am here on Friday afternoon at 1:30, and I am hoping to release it in about 4 or 5 hours. So, I'm procrastinating. Don't procrastinate. Easier said than done.
Whether you want to be a great warrior and win the kingdom, then you have to be up and doing. You want to enjoy something in the world, achieve something, you have to be up and doing. You want to become enlightened and free, even more so. You can't be paralyzed like this. That was just the opposite of Shraddha. And
this goes towards all you guys that are addicts in AA currently. Everything is a cycle if you allow it. And by allow it, I mean if you're not actively trying to stop the cycle from coming back around, it will come back around. You need to be actively saying no. Do the next right thing. Get a sponsor. Go to a meeting. But you know what I'm saying.
Krishna wanted Arjuna to awaken that Shraddha. Basically, in positive psychology, they put it in a very simple way. Nothing is going to work for us until we make up our minds to change.
That's perfect what we were just talking about with addicts. You got to make it up. I mean, I know you say you want to, but do you really? You make the choice yourself. So if you need to go to a rehab facility and detox, that's what you need to do. If you need someone to talk to about it more, you can DM me or email me. I'll have my email address in the description. Talk to me. Let me know what's going on. I might be able to help you out. Shut up, Wes.
All this psychology, spirituality, everything will begin to work for us if we make up our mind, I'm going to change my life. I am going to make a difference in my life. So this willingness to change is crucial, and this must first come from us. If I make up my mind, this is the way it is going to be, nothing more is going to happen, then it's done for. There is no possibility of anybody helping us. I have given this example of the difference between Arjuna and Duryodhana. You know, in the Mahabharata.
Remember, guys, the smallest seed of doubt will kill any manifestation effort. So, if you're trying to move a mountain, you can. You just can't have any doubt about doing it. Just pick it up and move it. Know that you can do it. Pretend like you've been there before.
Hero is the Pandavas, and especially Arjuna, the great archer and warrior. Duryodhana is the villain. Now, it's an interesting thing that, one might say that the great war was fought. Why did Krishna teach all this wonderful wisdom to the hero? Arjuna was already a good guy. If he had gone and taught it to the bad guy, to the villain, to Duryodhana, then maybe there could be, war might have been averted if he had converted the bad guy into a good guy. Krishna actually tried. You know the story of the Mahabharata. Krishna tried. He went to Duryodhana, tried to convince him that what you are doing is wrong. What you are doing is not dharma. This is dharma and this is adharma. This is right and this is wrong. And you know Duryodhana's response to it, classic response. He says, and it's psychology, he was honest. He said, Janami dharmam, natyame pravritti. I know what is right, I know what is wrong. You don't have to tell me what is right and wrong. I know I am doing wrong things. I know I'm not doing what is right. I know I'm doing what is wrong. See, right and wrong is not my problem. Then what is your problem? I know what is right. I don't feel like doing it. Natyame pravritti.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what it comes down to. Do you feel like doing it or not?
It's so honest. I don't feel like doing it. I know what I'm doing is wrong. I can't stop myself from doing it. Why can't you? When he so deep in this psychology Duryodhana exposes, he tells Krishna, look, my problem is this. Kenapi devena hridistitena yatha niyojito asmi tatha karomi. There is some power within me. And that is this internal, my vasanas, call it whatever today Freud will call it unconscious urges, whatever.
Ego.
It is. My id, the subconscious, the urges there. It is forcing me to act in this way. I can't do anything. At no point did he say, I'm willing to change, please help me. Everything that Duryodhana said was truth, but never did he say, this is my condition. How do I change?
It's hard to ask for help, guys. But if you need it, you need to ask for it. Because if you do need it, then you've kind of been failed by the people who love you. Because you shouldn't even be at that point. They should have gotten you help a long time ago. But I know it's super hard to ask for. If you needed help, please seek it out. Or once again, get a hold of me and let me see if I can help you out a little bit. I've suffered a lot. Even more now than recently, because I have sacrificed my whole life for my children. So it is what it is. I am retired from a social life, and I learn for fun and live for them.
Arjuna says the same thing in the Bhagavad Gita. Ata kenoyam papam charati purushaha. Ata kena prayuktayam papam charati purushaha. Forced by what force? By what subconscious urge, force does a person do anichannapi, without, not willingly, is forced into the wrong path? You just have to see an addict to see that person is suffering. So running after drugs or drink or whatever it is, person would be, if I didn't, if it's possible to be free of this demon, the person would be free of this demon, but is not able to stop it. So Arjuna acknowledges that there is this force, which
and that force is called withdrawals.
even when I know what is wrong, makes me do it. Even when I know what is right, there is no motive power to do it. But Arjuna asks, how can I change? What can I do? Please help me. Please teach me. And then Krishna teaches. So this is the difference.
This kind of goes along what I was saying earlier about embracing your dark side and then learning how to control it. This is kind of touching on what I was just saying.
Arjuna has that Shraddha, the faith in himself, that this knowledge of Brahman, which Krishna is telling me about, this is a wonderful thing. The second chapter in the Gita, Krishna tells him, it's all taken from these Upanishads, a lot of it from Katha Upanishad. And Arjuna feels, I can do this, I want this. Duryodhana has no interest. He is okay with continuing the way he is continuing. So this Shraddha, it entered into Nachiketa. Then what did he see? Why did he react in this way? So here you see humor. No, it will come next. Something like Mandukya Upanishad, you see in contrast, no stories, and also singularly humorless. It's a very serious kind of Upanishad. Now you will see funny stuff coming up next. Third mantra, Pitodaka Jagdha Trina Dugdha Doha Nirindriya Ananda Namate Loka Tansa Gachyati Dadat. So one who gives cows like these, which have drunk water, which have eaten grass, which have been milked once for all, which cannot give birth to calves, giving donations like this, giving gifts like this, assures you of going to the lower worlds, the cheerless worlds, hellish worlds. You will attain to hellish worlds. Okay, what is this? This is very sort of very ancient humor. Remember, you're supposed to give away everything, and that includes, in those days, if you were a wealthy person, you had lots of cows. So cows were a kind of wealth at that time. We know that classic scene in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, we'll get to it eventually in a few years' time, where the great Vedanta teacher Yagyavalkya, who comes to the court of King Janaka, the Emperor Janaka, and is going to be a big debate on the nature of ultimate reality. So see, in an emperor's court in those days in ancient India, they were having debates among scholars, and what was the topic? What's the ultimate reality? And the one who knows the ultimate reality, the best of the knowers of Brahman, they will get 1,000 cows.
Ooh-wee. That's so much better than a political debate these days, which is basically just nonsense. But debating like that is a beautiful thing. It's poetic, in my opinion.
That's the promise. So the debate, and there is a result of the debate that you'll get 1,000 cows. And Yagyavalkya, the great rishi, who is the hero of that whole Upanishad, the teacher of Brahman, he comes and he has a student. He tells his student, drive away all those cows and take them to our ashram. Even before the debate. And all the debaters are furious. And they howl in protest, and they say, what? You think you are the best knower of Brahman? Without any debate, you're claiming that? And there's humor there, because Yagyavalkya says, oh, no. I never said this that I'm the best knower of Brahman among all of you. I just want the cows.
Yeah, he's going to just try to wing it. That's my kind of guy. Learn in the fire. That's what I do.
Just go calm. I just wanted the cows. I'm just taking the cows away. And of course, there's a long debate And his greatest opponent is actually a woman, a rishi who...
That is what a con artist is, though. It's a confidence artist. So you just go and be confident, and you can pull it off. And being confident rolls back to self-love, which rolls back into loving somebody that you don't like, and respecting yourself and others. Shut up, Wes.
was a lady, Gargi, and they have this long debate where Yajnavalkya teaches Brahman. Anyway, similarly, you see, wealth, cows are wealth. And so among all the things that his father is donating, he's donating the cows. But Nachiketa notices he's donating the worst of the cows. He's not giving away the good stuff. So I'm sure he's just put the good stuff somewhere else, and he's just giving away what he doesn't want anyway. So
it's hard to give up your best items. I mean, just imagine. It was hard. So I don't blame the guy, but his son is calling his ass out on it. Let's see what happens.
And he says, you want to go to heaven with all these rituals, but don't you know that if you cheat in this way, you are going to go to hell. You will go to the world's cheerless worlds, Ananda Loka. Nanda means joy. Ananda, no joy. Nirananda. Ananda is joy. Nirananda, no joy. Ananda is also no joy. You will go to the worlds which are joyless, cheerless, dark, full of suffering, hell. You'll go to hellish worlds. Why are you doing this? So that's what he thought. And when he spoke up, he didn't say this, but he was thinking this. What is the meaning of these words? Pitodaka, having drunk water. What does it mean? It's so old and feeble, it can't drink water anymore. So it's drunk water for the last time, the cows. Jagdatrina, having eaten grass. That means it can't eat anymore also, can't digest anymore. It's so old and feeble and about to die. So it's having the one who has eaten for the last time. Dugdhadoha, having been milked for the last time, will not give any more milk also. Nirindriya is not going to give birth to calves also. So the ones which he does not want, he's going to give them away. That's what he's doing. And it's not all that unknown. I mean, I see it all the times in the New York, you see on the steps of the brownstones, all the stuff which are being set out there. You can just, they're there for pickup, you can just curb pickup, you go and pick up whatever you want. People, there is sofas, there is old electronic equipment, there is books, and they're just for taking away. But they are not the best stuff of the people in there. They're just the stuff people want to get rid of.
That's correct.
So what Nachiketa's father did is, you see all around, that's exactly what his father was doing. Getting rid of the stuff, too much stuff.
You don't blame him. I mean, you can't blame him. In this existence, we work hard for what we get, and to just give it right back away, that is truly faithful.
I don't want all this stuff. I will give it away to the priests who have performed the yajna. And the boy sees through it. I mean, children are very honest and forthright that way. He sees through it, and he sees the contradiction in this. He's not only cheating the priests, he's cheating himself. My father is cheating himself.
Okay, that should be proof enough that the story's fake. There's no way a kid, an adolescent, preteen, is going to be thinking like this. I don't care if somebody had been reading the Upanishads for the whole time he was in the belly, and to whatever his 6-year-old life. It's impossible. You gotta have that by life experience. So we know it's a fake story, guys. Don't take it literal.
It's supposed to take him to heaven. Doesn't he know that if he gives away these, I know he's got all the nice cows hidden away and all the nice stuff hidden away. He's giving this stuff away. He'll go to hell. He's just cheating himself. All this is useless, what he's doing. Before I go ahead, let me tell you a funny story. This was about 20 years ago. I was a young novice in our ashram in Deoghar in India, and a very senior Swami Atmasthanandaji, who was the general secretary of our order at that time. Later he became the vice president, and then finally the president of our order. He was the 15th president of our order. So he had come to visit, and you can imagine the general secretary of the order is like the executive head. It's like this the CEO of a multinational corporation. So if the CEO comes to visit a small little out of the way branch, like everybody it's an unforgettable occasion.
Yeah, you got everybody straightens up real quick. Yeah, when I was in the workforce before I was unable to work, I used to manage a lot of mostly automotive repair shops, and I would have to deal with like audits like this all the time. And man, yeah, people stiffen up real quick when that director comes around.
Might come once in 20 years, 50 years.
That's what she said.
Maybe. So it was a great thing for us to have him there, and we had planned so many things. One of them was a dramatic performance by the school kids. The school boys were going to perform the Yama Nachiketa dialogue, this whole story. They would perform on little kids, they're all Nachiketa's age, 8, 9, 10 years old. And they're going to perform it on stage in Hindi, and the important mantras, the crucial ones, would be chanted in Sanskrit by the one Swami said he will do the chanting of the difficult mantras in Sanskrit from the background with the harmonium singing in the difficult tune. And the rest of the dialogues would be in Hindi. And one of the Swamis, who has passed away since, he fancied himself to be a great theatrical director. He wasn't, but he thought he was. And so he wanted to direct the whole theatrical performance. So the great day arrived. The senior Swami was there. We were all youngsters, young monks, and all the kids were there. Their parents had come. The teachers were there. So one evening, a huge thing. And there were maybe 500 people in the audience. And the kids went up there. The beginning to end, the whole thing was a disaster. I mean, it was just fell apart from the very beginning itself. So the kids hadn't memorized their lines properly. And when at the crucial moment, like Nachiketa, little boy is going to ask the great question about what happens after death. Those are going to be chanted in Sanskrit. One Swami had volunteered that I'll be standing by from behind backstage. I'll, with the harmonium, I'll sing the Sanskrit mantras. So just at that time, the kids are there. There's one little boy dressed up as the god of death, and one little boy dressed up as Nachiketa, and they're going to say, I have this question for you, these questions. And they look back at the backstage. Nothing is happening. And I was there in the backstage. We are running around. Where is that Swami? You're supposed to see. At that moment, he has chosen to go to the toilet. So you could hear.
Pretty convenient. You're like, let me tiptoe out of here.
The booing and the laughter from the crowds, and so one after another. It was just, I still remember, it was a horrifying experience. And when the time came, the first question was 3 questions. Nachiketa got 3 boons, so he asked for 3 boons, and the final one was the question which led to the whole Vedanta teaching. So first boon and the second boon, then the king of death asks. You could see the kids themselves were flustered, they knew it was going very badly. So the king of death asks, ask for your 3rd boon, oh child. And somebody from the audience, there were a lot of boos and catcalls. Somebody from the audience said, tell him I don't want anything more. We'll be spared this torture. So it'll bring this thing at fast to an end. So it ended finally. And while everybody was, the parents and teachers enjoyed it. Little kids, so it was all fun. So when they were leaving, and the crowning thing was, this Swami, who was the director of this disaster, he had the guts to go up to that senior Swami, Atmasthanji, and ask him, so Swami, did you like it? How was it? And the Swami, who was known for straight speech, he didn't mince his words. He glared at the director and said, it was horrible, and stomped out. I still remember.
That's funny.
So that was the story. Now, should we go on to the 3rd mantra? Let's do that. I'll take the comments. I'll just read out the 3rd mantra. What did he actually say to his father, the little boy? He thought this, and then what did he say to the father? Sahovacha pitaram tata kasmai mam dasyasiti dvitiyam tritiyam tam hovacha mrityavetva dadamiti. He spoke thus to his father. O father, To whom will you give me? Asked. His father was silent. He asked a second time. He asked a third time. Whom will you give me to, Dad? And then his father shouted back, Tam ho vacha, mrityave tvadadamiti. I'll give you to death. So the idea here is that he asked this sharp question. You are supposed to give everything away. I'm your son, so give me away too. So it was a pointed question, and his father knew. So his father kept silent in annoyance. But the boy is a little boy, so he's persistent. He asks again, so whom will you give me to, Dad? Whom will you give me to, Dad? And his father says, like today somebody might say, go to hell. He says, go to the house of death. I give you to death. And of course, the next part of the story will be that the little boy goes to the house of death, and then the whole story starts. So this is the background. Now, quickly I'll go through the observations and comments.
What's up, bro?
Shanli says, how does one get fulfillment in life? Is perfection a state of mind, or is it possible in life because no one is complete? How do we know where to stop to fulfill our desires? First of all, fulfillment does not come from fulfillment of desires. That's the great insight, not only of Vedanta, of every religious tradition, every spiritual tradition in the world across. The pursuit of worldly goals will not lead to fulfillment. The pursuit of the limited will not lead to unlimited freedom, unlimited fulfillment. It won't happen. When we have
That is beautiful, poetic. Chase for the limited will not. Wait, hold on. What? I'm not even trying.
to look to spirituality. Spirituality promises fulfillment. So where can we get fulfillment in life? Through spirituality. In Vedanta, it's very clear. Through the realization of what we are. We are infinite. By realizing our own infinite nature, infinite existence, consciousness, bliss, when that becomes clear, we are fulfilled. Gaurav asks, outside objects seen by eyes can be reduced to perception. Perception. So it sounds like the Ashtavakra retreat. Perception can be reduced to sensing or perceiving. That can be reduced to awareness. This makes us understand how this world is appearance in awareness. Yes, you discussed in the retreat, and Rupert Spira also emphasizes this fact. Is this approach explained in some Sanskrit scripture? Yes, we will come to it, don't worry. A number of places, and here in the Katha Upanishad itself, one of the teachings will be this one. If yes, then which one and where? I want to read it so that I can deepen this understanding. We'll come to it, don't worry. It is in fact there, either directly or indirectly, in fact, all of the Upanishadic teachings. In all of the Upanishadic teachings, actually, it's there. We'll see how. And specifically, we'll see here in the Katha Upanishad, it will come later. In this day, in the form in which Rupert Spira teaches it, it comes from a great non-dualist teacher in the south of India in the 1940s and 50s. His name was Atmananda, Krishna Menon. Krishna Menon, he lived in Kerala, and he taught this particular method of reducing external world into perceptions, perceptions into mind, mind into awareness. Jayashri says, what is the difference between Vedas and Puranas? So the Vedas are the original scriptures. The foundational, original, root texts of Hinduism are the Vedas. There are 4 in number, and we talked about it. What is the structure? The Karma Kanda and the Jnana Kanda. And what we are studying here are the highest teachings of the Vedas, the Upanishads, final teachings. They're found in the Vedas. The Puranas are later texts, and they are actually composed. They are not supposed to be eternal wisdom seen by the rishis. No, they are actually composed by the rishis with the idea that what is taught in the Upanishads, the same ideas can be conveyed to the masses in a much easier form through stories and moral teachings. There will be a lot more, much more stories. I mean, Puranas are full of stories of gods and goddesses. They are not meant to be factual. They are meant to be, they are meant to convey a certain message. And the central message of the Puranas is none other than the central message of the Upanishads. The Upanishads are the authority for the Puranas. And today in Hinduism, we worship God in so many forms. Ganesha, Durga, who's come, the Durga Puja is coming, Shiva, the avatars, Rama and Krishna. All of those, they are Puranic. Some of them have roots in the Vedas, but in the full-fledged form, all the stories we know about them, now they're made into television serials. They're all based on certain Puranas. Sean Lee, does heaven exist? How can you convince a non-believer in heaven or hell? A non-believer, you can't convince of heaven or hell. Heaven or hell are matters of faith. And they exist in this sense. If you want to look at it logically, if we do exist after death, and that sort of understood that we do exist after death, that's what Nachiketa will ask the god of death. What happens after death? If we do exist after death, we must be existing in some state, in some environment. That environment can be nasty, which is hell. That environment can be very pleasant, which is heaven. And those are all temporary. Just like this life, those existences are also temporary. It's cyclic. It goes on coming and going.
I want to be a tree in the middle of the Amazon rainforest. Next time
and around. It's a matter of faith. But the beauty of Advaita Vedanta is, as we shall see, ultimately heaven, hell, all those are secondary. Ultimately, it's a question of realizing who or what we are here and now. This is called Sadhya Mukti, direct liberation. That's what Advaita Vedanta teaches.
That thou art.
That's the difference between it and the dualistic religions, which talk about going to heaven. A post-mortem, the results of religion or spirituality will get after death. Notice the great ritual which this Nachiketa's father was performing. When will he go to heaven? After death. And that's the belief. So if you are a good devotee, you will go to the heaven of your choice, to the deity you are worshipping after death. But Advaita Vedanta says enlightenment is to be achieved here and now. And that's far, far higher than any kind of attainment of heaven. Rodrigo says Nachiketa's father was double cheating. Not only was not giving away everything, he was giving away that part of the wealth that was already spoiled. Yes, that's true. And triple cheating also, because he was cheating himself. He didn't know. And one thing I didn't mention is these rituals, the fire rituals, yagas of the Vedic times, down to the pujas which we perform today. There is one principle. All of these principles comes from the Vedas. One principle. If you do these rituals with desires, then it has to be done perfectly. If you don't do it perfectly, you will not get the results, and you may get negative results also. So clearly this man was not doing it perfectly, and he would not get the results. Nachiketa is absolutely right. You will not get heaven because you are basically cheating yourself. Not only cheating these priests, but you're cheating yourself.
And you're cheating yourself because of ignorance. You're just ignorant to these facts. This is what's taught. I've learned in previous reactions.
Sandhya says, surprised to see why Rishi is seeking for Swarga and not becoming a mumukshu. Yes, Shankaracharya points out that his father was a seeker of results. Nachiketa's father was a seeker of results, of Kamana, and he was not qualified for Brahma Jnana. He was not seeking enlightenment. And this was very natural. In those days, the majority were like this. And that's not so different at all today. And today also, the majority who go to temples, churches, who perform rituals are for the fulfillment of desires in this world.
100%. That is fact. And we're going to end with that. If you made it this far, thank you very much. I hope you like and subscribe, become a knowledge nomad. We preach loving people that you don't like. That way you can love yourself properly. I hope you enjoyed this first part of the Katha Upanishad. The first 3 mantras, I enjoyed it, plus the peace one, which is basically just a prayer to start with. Very good, guys. Thank y'all again for coming down this path. Check out my Patreon. My other reaction videos should be the what am I thinking? The folder or whatnot for the reactions should be popping up. But alright, that's it for this one, guys. I love you. Please go love somebody that you don't like so you can love yourself properly, so you can put that energy out and everybody else can receive it. You gotta stop being selfish, guys. Alright, I love you. I'll be doing the next one next week. We're gonna just continue on with the Katha until we're done, and then I'm gonna probably hit the 2 ones that are older than this, and then we're gonna work on from there. Alright, I love you. See you guys later.